The Inside Edge Network is brought to you by Fanatics. Fanatics isn't just our name, it's who we are. Loyal, passionate fans, dedicated to our favorite teams and athletes to the sports we love. That's why we're honored to be able to offer fans the world's largest collection of official sports apparel and sports jerseys from all the leagues, teams, and players you love. We're talking NFL, Major League Baseball, NBA, National Hockey League, the NCAA. I'm a wrestling guy as well. We got WWE apparel available too. It allows us to serve fans of football, baseball, hockey, basketball, lacrosse, soccer, golf, and everything else that gets your heart pumping. Go to fanatics.com by using the QR code on your screen right now to celebrate your teams. It's right there in the corner of your screen. Get your official gear. Level up with us at fanatics.com.
Whether you're searching for a baseball autographed by your favorite World Series slugger, a signed football by an iconic Hall of Famer, or the jersey of a world-famous soccer star, you've come to the right place. Here at sportsmemorabilia.com, the web's leading source of authentic sports memorabilia, you'll find more than 500,000 authentic products from nearly every professional sports league, team, and player. Not only will you find your next prized sports possession with ease thanks to superb customer service and tremendous site experience, but you'll have the satisfaction and peace of mind that every product listed comes complete with a certificate of authenticity and is fully backed by the sportsmemorabilia.com lifetime authenticity guarantee.
And with that, welcome in everybody to the Inside Edge Network here on what would typically be a primetime / midnight run combo. You get all three of us, but we're here for the Inside Edge Network's Cleveland Cavaliers playoff preview show, and man, do we have a doozy here. I'm Eli Moon, and look who I got. I'm blessed. I got two of my favorite people, two of my favorite nighttime hosts, if I don't count myself. I got Double A Anthony Halford right in the middle here, host of Midnight Run, the program director of the Inside Edge Network, and looking very sharp in your Hawaiian shirt there, pal. And then, of course, we have Chad Bryan, host of Inside Edge Primetime. You also can check him on Illegal Formation and Sunday's Sports Show. And, of course, Double A over on Main Event. Me and him partner up on Sundays. So a lot of great stuff going on here. Fellas, we're going to talk some Cavs. We're going to talk some basketball. Got a lot of stuff, very exciting stuff on the docket. How are we feeling?
I was fine. Home base almost was ended today with the storms. It was a solid 5 to 10 minutes. That hell, if you didn't know any better, it was like Connect 4 pieces were falling from the sky. It was that intense. It was crazy. And so all my screens are busted. Thankfully, no windows are shattered. But,
yeah,
man, I can't open my windows. I do have to say thank you to Alley Rose Fragrances, because this place was smelling a bit moldy, and the candles have opened things up a little bit. So thank you again to Alley Rose Fragrances, one of our network sponsors here on the Inside Edge Network. It's been a day.
Sounds like it. Chad, how you feeling, bud?
I'm pretty good. I feel pretty lucky that I did not get hit with whatever you got hit with, Anthony, because I wouldn't have power for probably 3 weeks if that happened here. You know how it goes for me, but
get the generator.
That's it. Got some of the house going, right? Yeah, I guess we were blessed. We missed all the really nasty. It was loud. It was pretty loud for a little while here, but that's about it. We got a little bit of wind and some rain, but that's it.
Let me see real quick. I'm gonna pull up a picture. Look at that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dude.
Look at that.
That's hail. For anybody that's on the West Coast, that's what hail looks like. We get that sometimes.
Yeah.
A real golf ball size, and then the screen broke. And look at all that. It went right through the window there.
Dude.
That's insane.
Dude.
I thought you got an ice maker when you showed me that picture.
I thought so too. I'm like,
what's the problem? I don't get the problem.
Yeah,
was the coffee machine? Was the coffee machine okay? Was it all right after all that hail broke in?
The coffee's good.
Okay,
Coffee's protected. Right. This is.
Right.
I can exhale. All right.
We're good. Again, home base was under attack, but we have made it. And our buddy David Ruiz, he was supposed to be part of the show. Unfortunately, his internet let him down with the storms and stuff. So unfortunately, he is not with us tonight. But he'll be with us along with a ton of Inside Edge network talent for a variety of Cavs playoff coverage here on the network.
Yeah, it's going to be great, AA. And, I'm excited. This Cavaliers postseason run, guys, it seems like we've been waiting for this moment, throughout the January slumps and, February and getting moving and the Darius Garland for James Harden trade. It just seems like so much has gone on with this Cavaliers team. To get to this point, you're in a 4-5 matchup against Toronto. You're at home, It's an interesting start to the postseason and a team that nobody was really expecting. Before we dive into all of that, I want to open the floor to you guys and ask, with the regular season the way it went, the slow start, the Darius Garland for James Harden trade, all of that going on, and now to be in the 4th seed. We're playing Toronto. It looks like, if everything goes well, it's going to be Detroit or one of these play-in teams after that, and then Boston or New York probably. So how are you guys feeling about the regular season? Either one you could start, but was it a success for you? I mean, to be at this point now, was it a success overall?
I'll start since Anthony's taking a drink of the coffee there. Yeah, I think so. I mean, to end up the 4 seed after that start, like you said, the January slump and just the start to the season. I mean, there was a legitimate time where we talked, not necessarily us together, but I mean, where I had conversations with people like, hey, is this team going to miss the playoffs? I mean, we thought they were going to slide to the 1 seed. And remember, we said, I keep saying the East was so wide open and it's going to be nice. And the Cavs they can autopilot their way through the regular season. And they kind of did that and it didn't work out that well. But yeah, I mean, I guess from where it started to where we are now, yeah, I mean, you kind of have to look at it and compartmentalize everything, and maybe not where we want to be, but after the start, yeah, I think it's a success. You can say that, yeah.
There's potential for this to be a success. If we're just talking about the regular season, I mean, last year, number 1 seed, flying through the regular season, right up there with OKC, those epic matchups last year in the regular season, the Cavs and the OKC Thunder, like, okay, these are the 2 best teams. And only one of those teams went to the NBA Finals. So with that understanding, it was a success from the standpoint that the Cavaliers knew they had to make a change. Mm-hmm. They had to make a drastic change. I'm sure Eli will get to it in just a moment. But they found out, again, due to injuries, perhaps a small backcourt was not the way to go. So staying afloat somehow, some way. I mean, there's no real entertaining way to assess the regular season. You're not being looked at as one of the top 3 teams in the Eastern Conference at this very moment. But you still have home court advantage in round 1, and you got a decent path, and you're set up for success, probably the most amount of success you can have, Eli, going into these playoffs.
Absolutely, AA. I wonder, I've talked to a few different people, and Papa Moon and I have chatted about, maybe being a 4 seed isn't the worst thing. There was so much momentum, like you talked about last year, with the number 1 seed, the epic battles with OKC, and it just seemed like maybe they ran out of gas. And I don't like making excuses for a team that played real well and then all of a sudden didn't play real well when it came to the postseason. And that's a trend for a team that has struggled getting out of the second round. I get that. But I wonder if, with everything, the main focus was getting healthy and really focusing on getting to the floor a full unit. And it seems like for the first time all season, they're going to have a full unit. Everybody's healthy. There's really no lingering issues. Jared Allen, we'll keep an eye on the knee and everything. But besides that, I mean, there's really not too many lingering issues. Max Strus back in the fold. I mean, we had been asking about Max Strus for a while. But, we can talk about all these guys, and we will throughout the show. If you're just not tuning in, this is the Inside Edge Network. This is our Cavaliers playoff postseason preview show. It's very exciting. And I said playoff and postseason, but it's both. And but Chad Bryan, double Anthony Alford, and Eli Moon, that's me. We're all going to speak with you here till midnight. So we got a lot to talk about. I want to ask you, I'd be remiss, however, if we didn't spend at least the first 15 minutes of the show talking about what was the biggest storyline of the Cavaliers. And it's James Harden. And it's the trade that really caught us off guard here. We had just finished a primetime episode when all this went down. I think it was on a Thursday. And me and Double A and Chad, we're texting, and I go, there's no way they're about to trade for James Harden, right? Because at the time, I just couldn't believe it. And they do make the move. 26-year-old Darius Garland now in Los Angeles, and the Clippers play later tonight in the play-in, so we'll keep an eye on that. But James Harden, obviously the main piece coming back to the Cavaliers. 36 years old, hasn't missed a postseason yet, 17 seasons. I can list a ton of accomplishments. One big thing is he hasn't been to an NBA final since 2012, and he's yet to win one. So, guys, Double A, I'll start with you. How are we feeling about James Harden now that we've had a few months to get the experience, at least regular season-wise, of James Harden?
I feel really good.
Okay.
Really, really good. I like the fact what's going to be different here with James Harden, he doesn't necessarily have to be the scorer, the end-all, be-all things. Just be a playmaker and you'll be fine. But there is flexibility for him to be the number one scorer if the play calling, if the game plan calls for it to do so. But let's just be real about this, guys. This needed to happen. This needed to happen for the Cavs. Again, no disrespect to Darius Garland. Great guy, great dude, by all accounts. But his body couldn't hold up. I mean, when you have that small backcourt, there was always questions, guys, of, okay, who has the basketball in their hands and what's going to happen if person A or person B doesn't have the basketball in their hands? It's like it's two different offenses. James Harden has no issue whatsoever deferring. And I love the fact, guys, and I said it from the jump, and I think this is why Jared Allen has been having some of his best performances this season. James Harden has the ability to immediately dish the ball into the paint, down low to Jared Allen, to Evan Mobley, get that ball, beat the transition defense. And Chad, I think that's the X factor of having James Harden in this offense. It doesn't disrupt the flow of what what Donovan Mitchell is doing. It's not like the ball is stopping either way. So I really like what I've seen from James Harden. I love the potential with this team if they stay healthy.
Yeah, he's not really he's not a volume shooter or anything. He's comfortable just, like you said, moving the ball around. I think at least early on in the series, I think that's what the Raptors are going to try to do. They're going to try to get up in his face, make him uncomfortable, maybe just disrupt the timing or whatever and make him get rid of the ball. But unfortunately for them, I mean, he's been pretty good at that. So whether he's scoring or whether he's, distributing to Allen and Mobley under the hoop, I mean, it should, I don't know, the Cavs should be able to execute to the point where they can win the series. But I feel like that's one thing the Raptors are probably going to look to do. I would imagine getting his face and try to make him not that second scoring option, make somebody else be the two and second and third scoring options.
Yeah, and it's been interesting, guys, keeping an eye on James Harden and how he's developed in terms of his role with the Cavaliers. Early on in his career, leading and really in his prime, leading the league in scoring, 36 points per game. It's not that type of James Harden really anymore. Chad, you brought that up. He's not really a volume shooter as much as he was earlier on in his career. If we were talking about 26-year-old James Harden, sure. But this is a guy that, like you said, is going to, both of you alluded to it. He's going to pass the ball. He's going to get, Jared Allen and Evan Mobley involved. He's going to be able to take some pressure off of Donovan Mitchell when he needs to score. But he's also aware that these aren't the Houston Rockets days where he has to go score 35 points to have a chance to beat Golden State. No, it's okay. Donovan Mitchell can put up 30, 35 himself as well. So I think a combination in seeing, I'm not going to compare the two. But everybody talked about when LeBron and Kyrie would trade off offensive scoring. They have to prove it past the second round to really get that type of comparison, but that's what you would want out of this Cavaliers offense with Donovan Mitchell and James Harden. You'd hope some nights Donovan Mitchell can lead the charge, and hey, game 3, Donovan's gone off, last few. James Harden step in and really punch him in the mouth in Toronto, because Toronto, and we'll talk about the Raptors, they're a tough place to play. Toronto is a tough place to play in. They get real loud, real rowdy. I mean, the whole country's supporting. So I just wonder, how important these first 2 games are. Double, you look like you got some more thoughts on
No. Because I think of Toronto being a rough place. I'm thinking, oh, okay, Drake's going to drop in and act like he's a fan. I was like, what are we doing? I mean,
as long as Drake drops $1 million on him, we're fine. Yeah, there's no worry.
Is Drake a real Raptors fan to begin with? Does he even go to the regular season games? Are we all of a sudden going to see Drake like, oh, yeah, I support the Raptors. I love the Raptors. He didn't go to any games. Didn't do nothing. I mean,
I would prepare for that. If we can see past the technical difficulties screen on Prime Video on Saturday, we might see him. Yeah, I would prepare for that.
Well, that's what Kendrick Lamar told Drake last year. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, but, I mean, It's interesting, though, fellas. I wonder, and Chad, I'll ask you this, and I'm curious both your thoughts on this. How important are these first two games for the Cavaliers? I mean, everybody's always going to say, you got to win the first two. And, the old saying, the series doesn't start till the road team wins one. But if the Cavs drop game 1 or game 2 in Cleveland, where are you panicking, Chad? Are you worrying with them going into Toronto with a 1-1? I think 0-2 we'd worry, but I'm saying if it's 1-1 going back to Toronto, are you hitting the panic button?
I mean, I'm not panicking because my job won't be on the line, so I'm not really worried about it. But I would think that you would feel a little bit uneasy. In all honesty, all jokes aside, because this is a team that has a lot of question marks. They're coming in with you question the defensive. I don't know if it's the effort or the execution, really, which one it is, but you can question the defensive results. Whatever's causing it. The results haven't been there at times. Sometimes they are. Sometimes they're there for a half. Sometimes they completely disappear at halftime. They go away. We don't know. So for a team that I think, and we can get into it a little bit later in the show, but I think they have some vulnerabilities to this Toronto team. And I think, you might see some people feel really uneasy if they come in. Game 1 is a difference. They come in and win game 1, people are going to be real uneasy. But if the Cavs win game 1 and the Raptors win game 2, I think people are going to be a little uneasy. I'd feel better about that. But if the Cavs, if game 1 doesn't go well at home, then you're going to feel really, really uneasy going into game 2, I think. I guess it's all a matter of perspective, but man, I don't know about panic, but uneasiness for sure.
Double A, what do you think?
I would be stressed.
Okay.
I would. I mean, I know this is a 4-5 matchup. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
Toronto has not beaten top teams really all year. We've referenced the record throughout the week. They're 5-22 against championship contending teams. I think the metric was like the top 6 Western Conference teams and then the top 4 Eastern Conference teams in the standings. And 3 of those wins, yes, were against the Cavs, but it happened in November, completely different team. So basically, if you take out those Cavs games, they're 2-22 against top teams. The Raptors have no business winning any of the first 2 games, like none. In fact, they kind of lucked out being the 5th seed in the first place. It should have been the Hawks, and they lucked out. So if Cleveland loses any of the first 2 games, it's because of Cleveland. It's because of terrible perimeter defense. It's because of us going cold from downtown.
That's
and none of our guys showing up from downtown and keeping the Raptors in the game. That's how they stay in it. That's how they can win. Yeah. So if we don't handle our responsibilities, I will be stressed. And I think that because that speaks to something's going on fundamentally with coaching, something fundamentally is going wrong with the pieces that you have here. Talent-wise, you should blow these guys out. They don't even belong on the same floor as you. And if they steal a game, all the pressure's on Cleveland right now, guys.
Yeah.
So if you lose a game, oh man, I can't even tell you what the stress level is going to be going into game 3 in Toronto that Thursday night.
Yeah.
Real quick, 2 things to respond. The long rebounds in transition really, it kind of scares me. I think that's another way that the Raptors are really looking to take advantage of the Cavs. Just Mobley and Allen with the knee getting back. And the Cavs haven't been really good in transition defense all year anyway. But then using that same metric, the Cavs are 21-9 since James Harden came over. But only 4 of those wins have come against top 6 teams on either side. So both these teams, again, like some big question marks when it comes to like championship caliber teams and actually being able to win those games.
And it's an effort thing, right? And Kenny Atkinson talked about it after a game this year against Orlando on a Tuesday night. If this Cavs team just believes, we could shoot our way out of problems, and they don't put in the effort defensively, this will be a short playoff season. Yeah. Kenny Atkinson said it. Yeah. So it's up to them.
And I guess that's, before we go, got to get the break here in just a moment or so. Got one final question here in this opening segment for you guys. Does this Cavs defense worry you? Because I know it sounds like a very vague question on the surface, and you'd be like, duh. But there are some things to keep a note. This is the first time they're fully healthy. They have Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. They're going to have Donovan Mitchell and James Harden and obviously Max Strus and everybody. Jalen Tyson's back. Yeah, you have Thomas Bryant in that second unit. So maybe postseason, you turn up a little bit. The other thing to keep an eye on is Toronto does play a very strong pace of play. Offensively, they're going to push the ball. Rob Ruzicki alluded to that on Main Event on Sunday about the pace of play for Toronto. They like to get up and down the floor. Now, Emmanuel quickly will possibly miss some time. We'll keep an eye on that as the week goes on, but he may miss some time. He's dealing with a hamstring injury. And so we'll keep an eye on all of that. But he really dictates a lot of their three-point shooting and things like that. He gets the ball moving with R.J. Barrett and those guys. Long story short, fellas, with the pace of play from Toronto, from the Cavs showing you what they can be defensively and what they have been defensively, Double A, I'll start with you. Does this Cavs defense worry you?
If both Evan Mobley and Jared Allen are out there healthy, and you got to watch Jared Allen's knee, I think we'll be okay. But again, it's just going to, like I mentioned before, it's going to come down to effort on those plays. And what happens, it's the NBA. What happens if the shooting goes cold? Do you still hold on to those defensive fundamentals? That is where they have to be locked in and ready. You cannot let a team like Toronto hang around. So the answer, honestly, Eli, should be no. But effort means everything for this Cavs team. They have to show it, and they have to show it consistently if they want to go to a certain place that we all want them to go.
Chad, and before we go to break, I'm curious your thoughts on this defense here for Cleveland.
I think it worries me a little bit that 6'4" Sam Merrill is probably your best defender when it comes to effort and movement and just results really. And Brandon Ingram is 6'8" and a whole problem. I don't know that the Cavs really have the athleticism or the length. If he gets hot, and I know it was a long time ago, it was 4 or 5 years ago, whatever, with the Pelicans. He had a really nice series against the Suns. They lost. But I think he had like 3 30-point games in a row. That worries me. If Ingram gets going and then they've got they're able to get out and run on transition, I think then you're going to see Evan Mobley probably be exhausted running up and down the court trying to, get back on defense. That worries me a little bit. Yeah, because if Ingram gets going, I just don't know if they have the size and the athleticism to really stay with him if he's knocking down shots. So, yeah, worried a little bit.
It's going to be very interesting, fellas. We got a lot to talk about here. We are just getting started. If you're just tuned in, this is our Inside Edge Network Cavaliers playoff preview show. Over to my far right, your left. I usually say to my right, your left, but he's far right, your left. That is Chad Bryan. He's doing a shoulder turn for you. That's Double A Anthony Alford right in the middle for us. Dude, you look great today, bro.
Thank you.
You look great. You both look great, but Double A, the Hawaiian shirt is like something out of an Eli Moon 2018 closet, bro.
That's why you're the focal point right in the middle, man. I mean, that's why you're right in the middle.
I love it. And then obviously Chad's got the nice Cavs gold there. Hopefully we'll be seeing some gold in June.
I was trying to pull some old championship, mojo out of the closet, man. I got the Kyrie Irving shirt. I don't know. I tried.
I thought it'd be Delhi. I figured you'd be a Delhi guy.
Too much effort for me. No, he's way too, I can't put that. It took too much effort to even buy the shirt, man.
Yeah, they don't have that. Yeah, you don't have a Delhi on this team, but at the same time, I don't want my players going to the hospital after the first couple games.
Well, and they said to buy the Delhi shirt, you got to slap the floor, and I was like, nope, that's the hamstring problem. I'm Emmanuel quickly. I got to nope, I'm done.
That's the lower back. That's enough of that.
That's it.
They said Delhi drinks so much coffee, and that's what caused that. After my 4 cups of coffee the other day and having my crash, I can understand. I didn't even play an NBA playoff
I wonder
game.
if he ever fell asleep and missed a game, Eli. You ever think we'd know about it? Probably. We'd know about it.
We probably know about it.
But that's why you got to get W energy. That's exactly why. Because you would crash. That's right. That's the problem with young folks now. You up here crashing, you trying to get through the day, drinking 6 cups of coffee, thinking you're going to last and you'll be set. No.
You know what? You just put the biggest smile on my face. We're going to go to break because you just said I'm young, and I've been feeling old all week. So I just did some moving around this morning. I'm feeling good. That's Chad Bryan. Over to our far right, your left. That's Double A Anthony Alford. I'm Eli Moon. This is the Inside Edge Network. We're going to come back. We're going to talk some more Cavs. And stay tuned because we're going to talk about the playing games that are currently going on and what we think about the rest of the postseason field, postseason bracket. We're going to come back right after this on the Inside Edge Network. Stay tuned.
clean energy, bold flavors, no jitters. See why people won't shut up about Dubby. Clean energy, no jitters or crash. Helps you lock in and focus. Over 15 absolute fire flavors to choose from. Visit Dubby.gg and use promo code InsideEdge10.
And with that, we are back here on the Inside Edge Network. Chad Bryan, A. Anthony Alford, and Eli Moon. We are getting you ready for the Cleveland Cavaliers postseason run as they start Saturday against the Toronto Raptors. It's going to be an exciting day in Cleveland. We got some exciting stuff at the next break, actually the next segment, and we'll have AA share that in just a moment. Of course, you heard from W Energy. You've heard from Fanatics at the top of the show. You've heard from Alley Rose Fragrance, and you've heard a ringing endorsement from our guy, A. Anthony Alford, about how they, during a storm, that would be the only thing that survives is an Alley Rose Fragrance candle, okay? So what we need you to do, Chad, if you could, just go ahead and point to that QR code. That's right over. Yeah.
That one. All right.
Right there. That'll take you to InsideEdgeNetwork.com/partners. You'll hear from and see all of the sponsors we've already heard from. Some great stuff there, especially with Inside Edge 20 for first-time customers for Alley Rose Fragrances, 20% off your order. Great stuff at Fanatics. W Energy, 10% off with Inside Edge 10. So some great deals, and you'll hear from some other sponsors as well throughout the show. But that takes you there. And then if you just toggle over after that and you go to the shop, you can get a cool shirt like Chad had on yesterday, a polo, Inside Edge Network. Very cool stuff.
I did not know we had different colors either, like for the shirts.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I'm going through the options. I'm like, whoa.
I love it.
I was amazed. I had to pick one. I was like, what do I do? I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I love it. Great stuff. And we are back. We are talking Cavaliers, and we're going to talk a lot Cavaliers. We're going to take a little pause from the Cavs for just a moment, and we're going to talk about the NBA and the play-in. But AA, before we do, we have some exciting stuff coming up here in the next segment. You sat down with somebody who's pretty important, and you want to tell the people who we're going to have here on at the bottom of the hour, the last 15 minutes or so, kicking us into the 11 o'clock hour?
Yeah, I cannot wait. I had an opportunity to talk with the radio voice of the Cleveland Cavaliers, Tim Alcorn. He's going to join us coming up about 10 minutes from now. So you want to stay tuned for that. A lot of great conversations, some of the inside scoop in terms of what went into the James Harden trade and why did they transition from Darius Garland to James Harden and in the postseason rotation. A lot of great nuggets. So we did that interview earlier today. We'll have it for you coming up 10 minutes from now, 10:45. The voice of the Cleveland Cavaliers, Tim Alcorn. And here's the funny thing, gentlemen. I know if you look at the television schedule and you're like, oh, crap, I got to pay $10 for Prime Video. I got to pay another $10 for Peacock. And then if I don't have cable, I got to pay $30 for ESPN. You can listen to the games on the radio, on their app for free.
Yeah.
So
There you go.
if you like, hey, I need to save that money for something else, you can listen to Tim Alcorn, Jim Jones, my guy Mike Snyder on the pre and halftime and post game on the radio side. But yeah, we'll have that for you coming up 10:45 here in the East Coast. My interview with Tim Alcorn, Eli.
Yeah, it was great. It was just so cool to hear from Tim. A really good insight, and yeah, you guys are gonna have to stay tuned for that. We are gonna talk about the play-in here for a second, fellas. I know it's a debate: is the play-in the playoffs, or is the play-in, and then the play? All right, look, well, that's a different debate, probably a different show for us. Thoughts on the NBA play-in?
To be honest with you, man.
Thoughts on the NBA play-in so far, fellas? Last night we didn't get to see a ton of the moments because we did see this for a second. But
hey, shout out to Common though, man. Hey, Prime does have a fire theme song, so that ain't the problem.
Is it better than Midnight Runs?
Yeah, that was fine.
Yeah, I don't know if it's better than Midnight Run's theme song though.
It's not. But
right.
It's up there. It's up there.
That's right. Either one of you could start, but just with the games kind of going on yesterday, there's a lot of drama with LaMelo Ball and Bam Adebayo. Did he trip him purposely? Did he not? The Hornets win that game, and they're going to get a chance to clinch up the 8th seed tomorrow against the Orlando Magic, who just lost to the Philadelphia 76ers. So you could take this any way you'd like to go. The game's tonight. The Clippers take on, play a little bit later on here. But AA, what are your thoughts so far with this play-in? It seems a little bit more feisty than years past.
Well, the one a lot of people are like, oh, a lot of Adam Silver's ideas suck. Well, the play-in tournaments, the play-in games have always been competitive. Charlotte, listen, Charlotte Hornets is a problem. They're a problem. And that is the one matchup now that Philadelphia, they won. So we'll see what happens if Charlotte can win. If you're a Pistons fan, you better hope Orlando gets that W for the 8th seed. Because if it's the Charlotte Hornets, don't look now of strong potential not likelihood, but a strong potential of an 8-1 upset. I think the Hornets have all the tools. They have, they can shoot from downtown. They've given teams problems since January. And, Charlotte again proved it last night. I think if the Charlotte Hornets get into the playoffs, they're going to be a problem for the Detroit Pistons.
Joe, what do you think? What has been your takeaway with the Hornets in this Eastern Conference? Because we've spent time on primetime and Double A's talked about on Midnight Run about this bottom 5 to 10 of this Eastern Conference. And, yesterday I was sitting there spending all that time talking about the Hornets. It almost looked bad for a moment when the Heat almost won that game. But we were talking about
ready to go. I was ready. I was going to.
I know you were. But the Hornets, to Double A's point, do look very good right now. I mean, for lack of better words, Concanoople didn't even have a really good game yesterday. No. I think he was 2 for 12. He was pulled from the final couple minutes of regulation and didn't even play in overtime for the Hornets. So for them to do that, Double A, to your point, I think they are a team that could cause a lot of problems matchup-wise for Detroit. Because the whole big thing, and Chad, I'm curious what your thoughts are, but the whole big thing with Detroit is they're youthful. They don't know any better. Well, last time I checked, the Charlotte Hornets don't know any better either, right?
Yeah. And I feel like, with the Hornets being they're in the play-in, right? They move on. They're even more of a dangerous, too young to know better team, right? I think it's different being the 1 seed and too young to know better than it is, playing your way in and being the 8 seed and being too young to know better. You've got nothing to lose. You play with house money. I think that makes a team really dangerous. It's easy to play loose when you're not, trying to live up to any expectations, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And they have, like you said, they've been really, really good since, I don't know, early winter. I mean, they've been really good. So
since top of January, they've been one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah, they've been great guys. You know what? We'll keep an eye. The one thing to keep an eye on before we break is LaMelo Ball. The NBA is looking into that tripping situation with Bam Adebayo. They'll have a decision before tip off.
I think they just made the decision. I think he is fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that's from Perfect Double A. I appreciate that. Busy day for all of us here, but it's a busy day for LaMelo Ball too, and it looks like he'll get to play some Friday basketball for the Hornets. Perfect. All right, so with that being said, we're going to pause. That was our around the NBA, but this is Cavs season, man. This is the Cavs' chance to possibly bring back the first NBA championship since 2016. And it would be Tim Alcorn's first time calling a NBA championship for the Cleveland Cavaliers. We'll hear from Tim Alcorn, the radio voice of the Cleveland Cavaliers, sitting down with our own Double A Anthony Alford after the break. Stay tuned. You're not going to want to go anywhere because we're not, so you shouldn't. See you after this.
Hey, I got something to show you guys. Take a look. It is spring. Happy spring to all of you. Take a look at what we have here for you from AlleyRoseFragrances.com. Beautiful spring scent candles here for you. Hand poured with premium fragrance and essential oils. How about this? Our coconut soy wax candles bring fresh, uplifting spring scents to your home. Made with clean, natural ingredients, they're a mindful choice for sensitive spaces and those who love effortless, seasonal fragrances. You got to check it out right now. There's the soft bloom and the lemon bar candles, all healthy ingredients, all from AlleyRoseFragrances.com. And if you're a first-time customer, use the promo code InsideEdge20. That's InsideEdge20. Get this for yourself, for your friends, family, everyone. You want a good-smelling home, AlleyRoseFragrances.com will make it happen. Again, AlleyRoseFragrances.com. Get the new spring candles. And when you order, if you're a first-time customer, InsideEdge20 is the promo code. And we are so excited. Welcome on back. It is the Inside Edge Cavaliers postseason preview show. And the man right next to me, he is busy. Again, Anthony Alfred here with you. And I have the radio voice of the Cleveland Cavaliers audioverse, Mr. Tim Alcorn. Of course, you can hear Tim Alcorn along with Jim Jones and, of course, Mike Snyder on the radio broadcast. Tim, welcome. I've been so used to hearing you and Jim Jones, and Jim announced he's going to be transitioning. I was not ready for that news. I'm going to be honest. I was not ready to hear that, but you guys have had an unbelievable partnership.
We have. Thanks, Anthony, first of all, for having me on. And now your fans can see why I do radio. This face is not meant for video, but I appreciate you having me on. And yeah, for Jim, that was a great way to start this. Thank you, because Jim and I have worked together. This is now our 7th year, and it's bittersweet for me. It's sweet in the fact that, man, I'm happy for Jim. He did this of his own accord. He's 76 years old, and I'm not giving away any secret there because Jim has mentioned that many, many times. And boy, you think about all the years that he's been involved with basketball, going back to his high school days. So now he's 76. So think about the amount of bus rides and the amount of hotels and plane rides. And so Jim just said, it's time. It's time to step out of the radio aspect. And as you mentioned, and I'm glad you did that as well, he's not retiring. So it's not Jim's retiring off to the sunset. He's still going to be very involved with the organization, including things audio-wise and video-wise. He's just stepping away from the radio aspect. So like I said, bittersweet for me. I'm happy for Jim. He has a wonderful family, a beautiful wife and a Loris, and 5 wonderful children, 2 daughters, the triplet sons, and now grandchildren. So it's going to allow him time to spend more time with that family and get off the road and get off those buses and hotels and plane rides. And so in that essence, I'm very happy for Jim. But as a broadcaster, as the play-by-play guy for the Cavaliers, not only is Jim a great color commentator and a great broadcast partner, he's a dear friend. We've developed a real close relationship. So it'll be sad not to have him sitting next to me, but I'm happy for him in his own life that he's able to do this and yet still remain very actively involved with the organization.
Tim, be a little selfish for 2 seconds. This is a very impossible question, but give me a favorite memory or two with you and Jim.
Well, that's a great question. And there's several of them. But the one that really sticks out to me when people ask me about my relationship with Jim, the first couple of games that I did with the Cavaliers as the radio broadcaster, my predecessor was John Michael. And J. Mike's a great broadcaster, and he transitioned to the television side. But Jim had worked with J. Mike, they call him J. Mike, for all those years. And so the first couple of games, he kept calling me John or J. Mike. And again, it was just a natural thing. I wasn't offended by it. It didn't bother me. But the one game, Jim said, J. Mike, no, John, and he was like tripping over himself. Tim, and he started laughing. And I said, listen, everything's going to be just fine. Don't you worry about a thing, Campy. And he just busted up. He thought that was hilarious. And I knew from that moment on that Jim was cool with me and I was cool with Jim. And, like I said, this wonderful friendship and relationship has developed out of that. But, I called him Campy and he kind of looked at me and then he burst into laughter. And, it was cool from that point on. And, we've had so many memories and so many moments over the years. And one of the things is, listen, basketball is a long season. It's a marathon, and I'm sure we'll get into that. It's 82 games. And, you've got a job to do, call the games and so forth, but you've got to have some fun with it as well. Again, it's a long season, so you want to keep the listeners entertained and so forth. And Jim and I just had some wonderful, humorous moments on the air where we could keep each other engaged and laughing and so forth. And as I said, on the bittersweet side, I will miss that because we've had some great times together on the air.
I will not share over the air. I guess I will, that I worked the board at WTAM when he made that joke, by the way.
So you remember that then? You remember that?
I remember that to a T. I'm like, this is amazing. But you guys are entertaining and phenomenal. And the fans know that too. And I have the privilege to tell you that personally. And we're going to enjoy your guys' call throughout the playoffs. And we hope that this is going to be a long playoff season for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And coming into the season, obviously, we talked about the core four, which included Darius Garland earlier in the season, and now the transition over to James Harden. I want to first, for anybody who might have been in and out of the Cavs season throughout, talk a little bit about what went down, what was like the team approach with going into that trade and transitioning from Darius Garland to James Harden.
Oh, Anthony, that's a great question because at the time, it still is a blockbuster. It shook the NBA world. And for the Cavaliers to make that deal, I think, number one, it showed that Kobe Altman and general manager Mike Gansey, they were putting all their chips in the table. They were saying, we're going for this right now. It was stunning when it was announced. But I think once you stepped back and kind of looked at all the aspects of it and that window of opportunity that they talk about for a team to win a championship, they're going for it right now. James Harden in his 17th year. This is now the 17th straight year he's made the playoffs. He's been able to stay healthy throughout his career. And I'll never have a negative word to say about DG. I love Darius Garland. He was such a dynamic, electrifying player for the Cavaliers. But I think the injury issue certainly was part of that deal. I think the Cavs in the win now championship mode now felt that James Harden was an upgrade over Darius Garland. And again, I don't mean that as a demeaning thing about DG. I just think they looked at James Harden, his Hall of Fame career already, 75th anniversary team, one of the all-time leaders in scoring, one of the all-time leaders in assists. So I think they looked at that. And DG had been battling through the injury this year and still hadn't quite gotten up to where he wanted to be and where the team wanted him to be as far as level of play. So the Cavs swung for the fences and they made that deal. And I'll give Kobe Altman credit because when he did his Zoom press conference a day or two after the deal was made, he said, listen, 5 or 10 years from now, if James has retired and DG has gone on to this remarkable career with the Clippers, we may come out saying, well, we didn't win that trade. But I think if the Cavaliers short term get an Eastern Conference Finals or an NBA Finals or maybe a parade in June out of James Harden, then they're going to say we won the deal short term. So, it was a blockbuster deal. It was a huge deal. And James Harden, even though he had the fractured thumb, he stayed healthy, in his first 25 games here with the Cavaliers. They went 19-6 with James Harden since the trade with LA. So I think it has shown and it paid dividends. And you can't forget about Schroeder and Ellis for DeAndre Hunter. Now, unfortunately, DeAndre Hunter, I think, played one game with Sacramento before he got hurt. He got poked in the eye and they shut him down. The value of Schroeder and Ellis to this team, to the Cavalier team, has been on display game in and game out. So that was a real paradigm shifter. That trade deadline, when you picked up Schroeder, Ellis, and Harden, I think that catapulted the Cavs into the stretch run.
Now, Tim, once we start to see and transition into that second half of the season, I'm just thinking about the new core four, and it's amazing to me that they have only played, is this correct, 7 regular season games together?
Yes, that's correct.
There is no way that's a real stat. There's no way.
Well, and you think about the fact that the Cavaliers, 82 games, have had 40 different starting lineups. So half of the games, you've had different starting lineups. And perhaps this is a flip the script from last year where you win 64 games. You go through the regular season for the most part injury-free, and then all hell breaks loose when you get to the playoffs and guys start dropping. Well, this year, hopefully, it's the opposite. You work through all the injuries and you battled through it and you persevered. And yeah, 52 wins, it seems like, well, that's a big drop from last year, but 52 wins with 40 different starting lineups. And again, acclimating new guys when you get them at the trade deadline. So I think Kenny Atkinson has done a marvelous job. And now you're healthy going into the playoffs. You're ready to go. Thomas Bryant has that calf strain. I think he would really be the only guy that's questionable right now, perhaps for Toronto. But everybody else, they're fully healthy. They're ready to go. So really, not that I'm the team spokesman, there shouldn't be any excuses now. You're ready and raring to go. You fought through the injuries all season long.
Man, you know better than anybody else. That is phenomenal news to hear, the health and stuff. And now, and I wonder, too, how Kenny Atkinson, how he's going to work those rotations. Have you guys talked at all about the plan? You don't have to give away the particulars, but how Kenny Atkinson is approaching the rotation in the playoffs.
It's interesting you asked that, Anthony, because during Wednesday's practice, I was sitting with Mike Fratello, former Cavs head coach, and of course, a great broadcast analyst, and he was there taking in practice. And so we were sitting together and we talked about that exact thing, the depth of the Cavaliers. And of course, I'm picking Mike's brain. What about this? What about that? And, he coached in many playoff series. And I asked him, I said, you shorten that bench up a little bit. You want your 5 best players on the floor for as many minutes as they can give you in the playoffs. So that shortens the bench. I said, but you look at this Cavs team and it's a luxury. I mean, it's a nice problem to have that you've got so many guys that can come in off that bench. I mean, and let's say he, meaning Kenny Atkinson, let's say Kenny sticks with Wade in the starting lineup. I don't know that, but he seems to like that. But if you say, okay, he likes that lineup with Allen, Mobley, and Wade on the front line, well, then you have coming off the bench, Strus, Merrill, Tyson, Ellis, Schroeder. I mean, that's a 10-man rotation. Usually in the playoffs, you'll see 8, maybe 9. So that's what I was asking Mike about. He goes, well, that's Kenny's decision. But it shows you the depth. So those rotations and those lineup combinations, it could depend on the game. It could depend on the series. Maybe that rotation will be different for Toronto. Then let's say they beat Toronto and move on to face, everybody would think, Detroit. So maybe those get altered a little bit. I think it's going to be fascinating, but I think it's a great problem to have because of the 5 guys that I mentioned. All of them deserve to play. I mean, there isn't one of those that you go, he's kind of on the periphery. No, all those guys deserve to be out on the floor. They've earned those minutes.
Voice of the Cavaliers, radio voice, Tim Alcorn, with us here on the Cavs preview show here on the Inside Edge Network. A couple more minutes with you. The Raptors. Somebody's dropping in like, who are these Toronto Raptors? We got to buy a Peacock subscription and Prime Video to to watch this
Anthony,
series.
just listen on the radio.
Yeah,
That's all you got to do.
It's free, right?
There you go. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the Raptors in case people who have not watched them play much this year.
Well, first of all, I don't think a lot of people thought the Cavs were playing the Raptors. Boy, you went into that last day of the season and even really the weekend thinking it's going to be Atlanta. We're going to play the Hawks, and it kind of had set itself up. And then, again, you never know. Atlanta, which I think is still befuddling to a lot of people, didn't play their frontline guys in Miami. So they get smoked by the Heat. And again, I'm not here to question Atlanta, but okay, you didn't play your regular guys. Toronto then takes care of the Nets, which everybody did expect. The wild card was Orlando and Boston. Everybody knew that Boston wasn't going to play their guys like Tatum and Brown and right on down the line. But Orlando needed the game, right? And then Boston beats Orlando. How about Luke Garza hitting a 3-ball to win that game for the Celtics? Like, really? And then so that catapults Toronto into that 5 spot. I mean, nobody saw that coming. But Toronto, to get to your question about, the series, Toronto did beat the Cavs 3 times, all 3 times they met, but it was so early. The 3 games, I believe one was late October, and then the other 2 were in November. So you really can't put a lot of stock in those 3 games. Obviously, it was before Schroeder and Ellis and Harden had arrived with the Cavaliers. It was when the Cavaliers, even early in the season, were battling injuries. Max Strus missed the first 67 games, so he wasn't around. But it's a team that, number one, they want to play up-tempo, fast-paced basketball. They want to beat you down the floor. They're relentless defensively. Darko Rajakovic, their head coach, has really preached that from day one. And they bought in, to their credit. I mean, Scotty Barnes, R.J. Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly. They've got guys that will harass you defensively and then get out and break if they create a turnover or a missed shot. So and certainly for the Cavaliers, defense is going to be the primary key in this series. You've got to get back defensively and obviously take care of the basketball against that defense that'll just swarm you as often as they can. So that's going to be a big key. I think for the Cavaliers, the other thing is just to their benefit is that Toronto is not a great 3-ball shooting team. And we've all seen the Cavs 3-ball defense. It's been like a roller coaster at Cedar Point. I mean, it's just up and down. And you're like, some nights they can get out and defend the wing. And then some nights, like against the Memphis Grizzlies, you're giving up 29 3-balls. So you're like, okay. Now in that game, again, there were key defenders that weren't playing. And I think with Wade, with Tyson, with the guys that they can now put on the wing healthy defensively, I think that'll aid that. But Toronto's been in a playoff drought. This is the first time in 4 years that the Raptors have been in the playoffs. So for those young guys, they're going to get a taste of playoff basketball, and it's a whole different thing. Whereas this Cavalier team, and not just the veterans, like the Schroeders and the Struces and those guys, even the Cavs' younger players, they are now used to playoff basketball. So intriguing matchup, but certainly, and usually the 4 versus 5 is a solid matchup. But I think the Cavaliers are positioned pretty well here.
And that's why I was just thinking, I'm like, man, I got to remind myself, because I'm being selfish. I'm like, man, we have big goals. Of course, you're a Cavs fan, huge goals. And it's like, this is a 4-5 matchup. Like this, based solely on seeding, it could go to distance. But I think a lot of people would be upset if this series goes to distance, just to be blunt.
Mm-hmm.
But
no, historically, great point, Anthony. Historically, 4 versus 5. I mean, those are the 2 closest teams. And 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7. Once in a while, you'll see an upset there, and even 3 versus 6. But 4 versus 5, that's usually a good series and a tough matchup. And I don't think the Cavs say, yeah, we're just going to roll Toronto. They realize that they're in for a battle. But I also think they feel now that they're healthy, again, now that this roster is healthy, they've got the deepest roster in the Eastern Conference, and Kenny can do a lot of manipulating as far as, does he go small on the floor? He can go big. go big on the floor. He can put shooters out there. So he's got a lot of flexibility. And man, when you have that going into a playoff series where you're not one-dimensional, that's a huge benefit. And the other thing, hope I'm not going too long here. The other thing
You're good. You're good. I love it.
This is a hungry, driven basketball team. Donovan said last year, as soon as the playoffs ended, it was either Game 5 post game against Indiana, or maybe the next day in his exit conversation with the media. 82 games next year doesn't mean anything. It's all about playoffs next year. I mean, this team is driven to get past the second round, get into those Eastern Conference finals, and hopefully the NBA finals. So they're hungry and they want this. You can sense it.
So I'll sneak in one final question. What needs to happen for the Cavs to break through and get to the conference finals? And we'll be selfish, win it all.
Yeah, well, first of all, when you look at the Cavs team, the most obvious thing, especially as we battled it all year long, is health. If this team can stay healthy, because that's what happened last year against Indiana. And again, I don't mean to take anything away from Indiana. I think if Halliburton doesn't get hurt in Game 7 against Oklahoma City, Indiana may have been the defending NBA champions. I mean, they were playing very well, and Halliburton had gotten them off to a great start in Game 7. Putting that aside, the injuries against the Pacers for the Cavaliers really hurt them. So you've got to stay healthy, number one. I think their defense has to be more consistent. You've got to make stops on a consistent basis. And then it's just those little things. The Cavaliers, they had some mental breakdowns last year, just on small things. You think, I mentioned Halliburton. Think about that 3-ball he hit off a missed free throw. You grab the rebound, you win the game. Maybe it's a different series. And, that's just a box out by maybe an inch or two, but that's a little thing. So, and I think the Cavs have learned from all of that. But defensively, I think they need to sharpen up. I think offensively, they're fine. I think with James Harden running things and Mitchell on one side and whether it's Strus or Mobley or Harden lobbing to Allen and Mobley, I think the offense will be fine. Stay healthy, tighten up the defense, and I think they're in good shape.
This is Tim Alcorn, the voice of the Cleveland Cavaliers, the radio voice, and you can hear the games for free here locally on the Cavs Audioverse, WTAM 1100 here locally in Cleveland and across the Cavs Audioverse. Tim, thank you. I don't even know if you remember this, but I think about a year or two ago, I reached out to you for some business stuff in the middle of the summer. And you did not have to respond. It's the middle of the summer, and we were on the phone for an hour talking and stuff. And I am forever grateful for all of your help throughout the years, Tim.
Anthony, listen, all us media brethren, whether we're play-by-play guys, producers, podcasters, I think we should all have each other's back. And so I had a lot of people help me along the way, and I mean a lot. So if there's anything that I can ever do to help you or others in the industry, I'm going to do that. And so you want to reach out to me in June or July or August and say, hey, man, can I pick your brain for a half hour? I'm going to say absolutely yes. So congratulations to you. This is a wonderful platform. And again, anytime you want to chat Cavs basketball or NBA basketball, let's do it. I really enjoyed this. Thank you.
No, thank you. And hopefully, if they go far, we're going to have you back on.
Okay.
Talking conference finals, NBA finals, even second round. We'll do it again. Tim, thank you very much.
Thanks, Anthony.
Mosser Moments Photography is a husband and wife wedding photography team based in Cleveland, owned and operated by Ryan and Hallie Mosser. For the past 10 years, they've captured more than 100 weddings across Northeast Ohio and beyond, always working together as a true two-person team. Their style centers on authentic, emotional storytelling, documenting the real moments between two people in love and creating images that feel natural, comfortable, and true to the couple. Rooted in Northern Ohio, but inspired by their travels, Ryan and Hallie bring a warm, personal approach to every wedding day. Their work blends experience, consistency, and a genuine passion for helping couples relive their best day through timeless photography. Learn more at MosserMomentsPhotography.com.
And welcome back to the Inside Edge Network and the Cleveland Cavaliers playoff preview show here on the Inside Edge Network. A big thank you to Tim Alcorn, the radio voice of the Cleveland Cavaliers. He sat down with our own AA Anthony Alford. A lot of great stuff there, getting ready for not only Cavs Raptors, but hopefully a long playoff run. AA, great job getting the heavy-hitting questions we needed. You know, we trusted you, and you did a great job. But no, it was great. I mean, and thanks again to Tim. We're excited to hear his calls all postseason long. But yeah, AA, you changed. You changed since then.
I did. You know, some weather stuff happened here at Bedford. We have our whole road is flooded. I can't go anywhere. But if I was able to hit the road, I would go to the west side and go to BA Sweeties. Go right over to Cleveland, Ohio, the largest candy store in North America, over 75 years of business. Listen, between the playoffs, WrestleMania, NFL draft, the Guardians, the Guardians are coming back home this weekend. You need treats. You need snacks. You need the goods. BA Sweeties has that for you. Over 75 years of local business. From popcorns to candy to ice cream, soon putt-putt, BA Sweeties has you all covered. It's so good. Eli's camera's out of control right now.
I'm just thinking about all the popcorn. I
know. But you got to get it. And guess what? You load up your cart. If your order is worth $40 or more, mention the word lollipop at the checkout. This is an in-store promotion only. Mention the word lollipop at checkout. If your order is worth $40 or more, and you get $5 off of your total order. So get BA Sweeties, and it smells good there too. You're going to love the smell when you walk in. Interstate 480, the Ridge Road exit, make a left on Brick Park Road. You'll see a lollipop somewhere, usually a standing, but storms have said otherwise. But turn anyway, and you'll get right into BA Sweeties. So a great treat for us here at the Inside Edge Network. We started the partnership with the Side Hustle Wrestling Podcast, myself, Kyle Cornell, and we've spread that around here with BA Sweeties. But yeah, Eli and Chad, you guys are right. That interview was fantastic. And we talked, as you saw, we pre-recorded it earlier today, and I woke up this morning, I was kind of a little bit doom and gloom over this Cavs playoffs, just because, the regular season wasn't that great. But after what Tim was mentioning, the deep bench, only having 7 regular season starts with the core 4, this team is healthy, going in finally for the first time. We have an opportunity here to see the Cavaliers, Eli, do something really, really special. And Tim talked about it throughout in the interview.
Yeah, and 2 big things that stood out to me were the Cavaliers, at being healthy and playing good defense. Tim mentioned that, those are going to be 2 keys out of those, big points he was bringing up. Those are 2 that stood out to me as far as getting the Cavaliers to the Eastern Conference Finals and ultimately to the finals. Because I'm going to say something here on the Inside Edge Network. I've been hearing a lot of buzz in the town about, if they just get to the Eastern Conference Finals, I'm happy. Now, here on the Inside Edge Network, we probably all share differing opinions. I'm going to say this. If you get to the Eastern Conference Finals, why not go to the finals? Why stop there, right? So I think we should have bigger aspirations. This was a team that was, and Tim even mentioned it in the interview, guys, this team is out of excuses, and we're not making any excuses. There won't be any excuses for this team if they fall short. They're healthy. They're ready to go. He even mentioned the word 10-man deep, basically, a 10-man rotation. And, you see the starting 5, the starting 5, Donovan, James Harden, Mobley, Allen, and then the key Chad, and I'm curious if you caught that there, my friend, about Dean Wade. And I'm curious to see what Dean Wade brings to this postseason. The Cavaliers found out very quickly last year that they need size and they need guys that are going to be physical. And Thomas Bryant, as Tim mentioned, nursing an injury, we'll see if he's ready to go. But Bryant, Wade, those are going to be guys that help out Allen and Mobley down the stretch here. And we'll see if he's in the starting lineup. We'll see if he's on the bench. But if not, even if he isn't, this is a very deep unit here, Chad.
Yeah, deep, and it's nice to hear that they're healthy. That's good. You wonder, sometimes being on the outside, like, how are guys feeling? How's Jared Allen's knee? How is, Donovan Mitchell's anything lower body? It seems like this is the time of year where he struggles with a calf or something, right? And again, it's not that I'm not trying to paint the picture that he's injury prone. It's just it's a lot of weight on his shoulders, right? It's a lot to carry. But yeah, the Cavs need size. You're looking at the roster. It's Scotty Barnes and Brandon Ingram. They're 6'8". That can cause problems, right? And to have some size out there is good. I feel like even since the second LeBron go around, we've been talking about the Cavs need that, that stretch three, that 6'7", 6'8" three that can, defend a little bit in the low post, that can knock down a three, that can, maybe jump over on a small forward if you need him to do that. And they haven't quite really found, long-term, I guess, an answer to that. A lot of guys have been rumored to have been coming here via trade, and those rumors have come and gone, and here we are. This is the roster. Maybe Dean Wade is that guy who can step up into that role a little bit. But yeah, size is good. It's good.
Sure is. Double A, what do you think about if I were to ask you how you feel about this Bigs rotation as opposed to last year's Bigs rotation, are you feeling, where are you feeling? Are you feeling any better? Do you feel a lot better? Do you feel the same? Because it does feel different, Double A. Thomas Bryant, and another year of Dean Wade improving and really stepping up, it felt like this year. You have those guys, and healthy Allen and Mobley. Do you feel any better about the physical presence in the paint for the Cavaliers this postseason?
I do, and Dean Wade could be a big part of that. And listen, everything starts and stops with Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. And I like, and the other guys are huge with that, especially at home. But we always talk about with the playoffs, certain, role players, they'll shine at home. But then what happens when you go on the road? The road requires your superstars to shine. And for Jared, and I hate to do this, I really do, but it's part of his legacy. Jared Allen mentioning that the lights were too bright a few years ago at Madison Square Garden. I get it. Listen, here in America, maybe Toronto is not a big deal, but Toronto is still an international like stratosphere. So you still got to shine there in that atmosphere. This has to be a opportunity. I know Evan Mobley's going to get the headlines, and he should, and he has to shine too. Jared Allen, everything I think starts and stops with him. Because, Eli, how many main events did we do on Sunday nights here on Inside Edge that we were doing when James Harden got here? And we're doing the show, and we're looking like, holy smokes, Jared Allen has 40 points. Jared Allen has 35 points, like blink of an eye. Like, Jared Allen's like the key factor in some of these games. What happens when teams are preparing for him? He cannot shy away from the physical presence in the paint. The Cavaliers need him to show up in every game of these playoffs physically down low.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm curious, guys. Another thing that stood out to me from the interview, Double A, there with Tim Alcorn. Again, if you missed it, go back and catch the replay. It'll be on all of our socials at InsideEdge Net. The interview Double A had with Cavs radio voice, Tim Alcorn, the play-by-play voice of the Cavaliers, which you can listen to all postseason long. You don't have to get Amazon Prime, like Double A alluded to. You don't have to go get Peacock or any of those. You could just put the radio on. It's getting nice in Cleveland. Sit out on your patio. And
terrestrial radio, by the way, Eli. Terrestrial radio.
Yeah, are you talking aliens to me?
I was thinking about it. I was trying to go space. I'm trying to segue into the shuttle launch. But
no. We got prime time tomorrow. Make sure you tune in 10 o'clock prime time to close out your weekly program. Double A,
hey man, I'm coming around to it, man. Leave me alone, Chad.
Hey, see? You got his NASA shirt on.
Leave me alone, man.
Chad, I wanted to ask you this, pal, and Double A, I want your thoughts as well. But I want to lead here asking Chad this about Schroeder and Ellis. And then you look at Strus, Tyson, these guys, and Merrill. You look at these guys, the two additions with Schroeder and Ellis, but you look at, Jalen Tyson and Sam Merrill both finished top 5 in the Eastern Conference in 3-point shooting percentage, and Jalen Tyson finished, I believe, 4th in the NBA. So these are guys that, are going to be counted on to step up. Double A mentions about on the road, yes, your superstar is going to have to step up, but these are guys, Max Strus has been to an NBA Finals. Schroeder's been around the league. He's a veteran. Yeah. Do you think that plays into this depth rotation? Because you mentioned, Tim mentioned about eventually there's going to have to be probably an 8 or 9 man rotation if they need to. I mean, how do you make a decision when Schroeder gives you so much, Ellis gives you so much? Jalen Tyson has made a leap this year in terms of we were more comfortable in Cleveland getting off of Darius Garland, depending on what Jalen Tyson looked like. Yeah. I mean, how do you feel like if you were in this position? I mean, who would miss the cut? Because it feels like they're so deep right now.
Well, I'm going to borrow a line from that's Kenny's decision. I'm not making that call. I'm not doing that. But here's the thing.
Thanks, Mike Fratello.
There you go. I'm going to defer to Mike Fratello. He knows what he's talking about. Yep. No, I think with Schroeder and Ellis, I think a lot of it, well, especially with Schroeder, it's mental toughness, right? Physical toughness. Something that we maybe thought the Cavs were missing. And granted, I know he's not 6'10", 260 or anything. He's not going to get in there and mess around the low post. But the mental and physical toughness I love. And that plays into, something else that Tim Alcorn said in the interview. Taking care of the ball, right? Trying to avoid the transition game with the Raptors. I like to get out and run. So if you can knock down shots and not turn the ball over and not let them score a bunch of points in transition, I think the Raptors did they lead the NBA in fast break points? I think they led the NBA in fast break points. So yeah, obviously they'd love to get out and run. You want to avoid that. And I think with Schroeder, I know he's second team, whatever, but coming in and you've got that. I don't know who makes the cut. I have no idea. But yeah, you can't go with a 12-man rotation. Not doing that in the playoffs. Ideally, you don't want to do 6. We've seen that before. So yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one. Maybe it's game to game, situation to situation. We'll have to see.
And maybe, Double A, real quick, maybe you don't shrink it. I'm just curious. Maybe you don't shrink the rotation. It is a question I was curious if you were to have to, but maybe you don't, Chad, to that point. These guys all add something. Yeah. Whether it's 3-point shooting, the ferocity, tenacity on the defensive side of the ball. They all do add something. And Double A, you look at Boston, right? That's the front runner, I would imagine, for the Eastern Conference. I know Detroit's the 1 seed, but they don't have the NBA championship. In fact, the only team you could really think of when it comes to been there, done that is really Boston in this rendition. They've kept a lot of their guys for the most part. Yeah. And they run a 10, 11-man rotation. You'll see Peyton Pritchard, and then you won't see him for another 20 minutes because Sam Hauser's out there and these other guys. Do you think that's maybe the Cavaliers' mindset going into this postseason, kind of copy a little bit? Great people sometimes copy, and maybe Cleveland does a little bit there with Boston,
Yeah, and Pritchard, there was a game earlier this season where he killed us. I can't stand him. Not because he's a good player. I can't stand him. But you're kind of right. Something to watch. I guess eventually that rotation is going to have to be shortened up. But again, you got to see, and hopefully we get a little bit of breathing room in this Toronto series to experiment with this a little bit. You get to see which of those role players step up. But you have the core 4 for a reason. The core 4, they've only played 7 games together. Those minutes have to be extended with the core 4. They're all healthy. So some of those some of that's going to have to be sacrificed. I did like towards the back stretch of the regular season, prior to the last 2 or 3 weeks, Max Strus was highlighted, rotated in late in the fourth quarter throughout the final stretch runs of the fourth quarter. I like that additional shooting threat that Max Strus provides deep in the fourth quarter when all the attention is on Donovan Mitchell or James Harden. Having Strus out there down the stretch, I think it's something to keep an eye on if these games turn out to be close, either in this round or for sure, Detroit or the Boston series. But yeah, I mean, if all of these guys are performing, what you're really just trying to find, guys, just which one of these guys are going to be consistent? Who can bring it consistently? I would love to see Tyson. out there more, but we're going to have to see. And talented-wise, offense is fine. You can't be a defensive liability.
Nope.
And that's the other part. And that's where, I'm not the biggest Isaac Okoro fan, but you knew what kind of job Isaac Okoro did defensively. And that's something that the Cavaliers, I think, are still trying to figure out how to replace. Yeah. Who's going to be that guy that's going to take on the opposing team's best player, like Isaac Okoro did? That's something to keep an eye on as well in terms of who's going to get these minutes out of the others.
Yeah, and I think the Raptors have that guy in Scotty Barnes. I think they know who their defender is. He's kind of a do-everything defender. I mean, he can with the size and athleticism, he can do a little bit of everything. Cavs don't really have that guy. It's more of a question mark. It's a conglomerate. It's a mix of guys that I think finding that consistent mix. Ideally, you go up 2-0 at home, right? You go on the road to Toronto, kind of a wild, quirky place to play, and you put some guys out there that, and maybe get some role players some playing time and see who's consistent. I mean, wouldn't it be fantastic to see, the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th guys off the bench play pretty well in Toronto, being up 2-0? It's a dream situation. We'll see.
It sure would be. And I do think Jalen Tyson is going to be one of the keys in this postseason run for the Cavaliers. If you wanted my opinion, I think he's made such a leap in this second year. And I think he is just he may not be defensively sound all the way, but he's going to give you the effort. And that's what we're looking for. You don't necessarily have to be the greatest defender. We're not looking for Tony Allen. I mean, we love 5 Tony Allens on the defensive side of the game, but we just want effort. We want, and Tim even mentioned it in the interview with Double A there last segment about, the Tyrese Halliburton, the missed box out. These games can be decided by things that you don't think too much about in December and January, but it's why you practice it all season long. And I do think Jalen Tyson's going to bring that edge. And almost like not knowing any better. Yes, I know he was with the team last year, but this is an extended role for Jalen Tyson. He's back healthy. He's got rested back up. I think we are going to see, and this is just me calling my shot, I think we're going to see a game where Jalen Tyson takes over. Is it on the road? Is it in Cleveland? I don't know, but it will be in this series. Jalen Tyson is going to be called on in some big moments in the second half, when James Harden and Donovan Mitchell are being forced away from the basketball and they're having to play off the ball. Somebody's going to have to step up. And Strus, I love him. He's more off the ball and pick his shots. Merrill, the same thing. Jalen Tyson can make a play and drive to the hoop. I do think he is the X factor for me, not only in this series, but moving forward if the Cavs want to make a deep Eastern Conference run.
All right.
I'm going to say something here. And I don't know, Eli, if I'm looking at the clock. I know we got the break, but you said something that kind of triggered me.
Oh, no.
And the part that really worries me. It has nothing to do with the guys you were just mentioning, but something you said that kind of triggered me. Can this Cavs team consistently box out in the paint in the playoffs? Yeah. They have been awful with that in the past. And it goes back to your big man question. They have been awful with that. And anytime they face a team, I don't think Toronto is that type of series where this is going to happen. But Indiana last year, Boston, and, the year before, even in the regular season, OKC, any top-level team, it's that drive to the basket when we're on defense. It's the drive to the basket, the kick out, open three-pointer, and our guys not closing out, or is shooting from the outside, a miss, and somebody getting past Jared Allen or Evan Mobley. I hope that does not happen.
Yeah.
I've seen it too many times when they both are not on the floor at the same time. I trust that won't be the case when they're both on the floor together. But the Cavs have been killed in the playoffs in the past because those bigs got beat in the paint with rebounding and our perimeter defense not closing out against three-point shooting. I don't know why. That's just triggered me when you said that.
Understood. And maybe the second cup of coffee too. Maybe that got to
It's
go
the
on a little bit
caffeine
too. No, I understand.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off, Eli.
You're good, Jeff.
You can't give up a bunch of easy putbacks and a bunch of free possessions. I mean, if you've got a team that's not knocking down shots, you can't let them keep having the ball back. You've got to box out and rebound.
You know what, guys, and I'll leave you with this. We do have to break. We have one final segment coming up here, so stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. If you're on the West Coast, this is around the time in prime time. We tell you, well, we'll probably be off prime time. Maybe getting ready for midnight run. But we tell you during prime time to grab your caffeine on the West Coast, grab it on the East Coast. You probably already ate dinner. I haven't, so I'll eat after. But make sure you grab your caffeine and your yeah.
You didn't eat dinner?
No.
I thought you were going to eat during the interview.
No, I'm
I thought you were going to eat during the first segment. I didn't. Yeah. Okay.
We talked about this. I thought you were eating during the interview.
No, I did not. I just no. All
right. Put down scalloped potatoes. I mean,
yeah. Shout out.
We're eating tomorrow, Eli. It's tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Follow Double A's clock. You know, we're starting here. I was and shout out my sister Maddie with the ham and scalloped potatoes. They're probably going to be amazing because she knows how to cook. But I will leave you with this. My final thought on this. It was a great discussion about the size of the front court and the physicality. I do think, just circling it back, maybe that's why the talks of Dean Wade being inserted in the starting lineup, maybe the Cavs are worried about getting out physical, you know, for lack of better words, against some of these teams, and having another guy like Dean Wade, another taller guy in there that can go play in the paint. Maybe it makes at least you're ensuring that you have three guys out there that can get the boards. So keep an eye on.
We hope. I mean, that is, I'm assuming we're talking championship, what it's going to take for the Cavs to win it all next segment. That's one of them. Sorry to bust on your tees. My bad.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that being said, we're going to put a little bow on this early. And no, I'm just kidding. All right. That's Chad Bryan to my right, your left. That's Double A Anthony Alford in the middle. I'm Eli. We're having a ball.
You, Eli.
Sure did. We sure did. And shout out, Rob. We love you. We are going to take a quick pause. We're going to come back for a final segment. We appreciate everybody that's been tuning in and staying with us the entire hour and a half, or not longer at this point. We're coming up on the 2-hour mark here soon, and you guys have been locked in. Thank you so much. We cannot do it without you. We're Cleveland's digital leader and your source for sports, entertainment, and mental health conversations. And if you've enjoyed everything we've been talking about tonight, you're going to enjoy all week-long coverage. We have weekly program here, a lot of great shows. Follow Inside Edge Net at Inside Edge Net for the Inside Edge Network, and you stay locked in here with us and become part of our family. How about that? All right, we're going to take a quick pause. When we come back,
we're not feeding you, though. We're not feeding you.
Yeah. Sorry, only one dish of
no access to scalloped potatoes.
Yeah. We don't have access. Yeah. All right, we're gonna take a quick pause. When we come back, how did the Cavs get back to the NBA Finals, and more importantly, how did they hoist the first Larry O'Brien Trophy in Cleveland since 2016, the second in franchise history? We'll talk about that. That's Chad Bryan, Double A Anthony Alford. I'm Eli Moon. We're back after this.
And I think the Cavs have learned from all of that. But defensively, I think they need to sharpen up. I think offensively, they're fine. I think with James Harden running things and Mitchell on one side and whether it's Strus or Mobley or Harden lobbing to Allen and Mobley, I think the offense will be fine. Stay healthy, tighten up the defense, and I think they're in good shape.
That's Tim Alcorn, the voice of the Cleveland Cavaliers, the radio voice, and you can hear the games for free.
And with that, welcome back on in to the Inside Edge Network. Whoa, hold on. Hey, here we are. Boom. There we go. Double A Anthony Alford, Chad Bryan. I'm Eli Moon. We are back, and we are in the clear. That was Tim Alcorn. If you missed it earlier, he was sitting there talking with Double A Anthony Alford about the Cavaliers and their opportunity to go on a deep postseason run and get back to the NBA championship. The first one it would be since 2016, the second in franchise history. And he brought up some keys there that we touched on last segment. So, yeah, with that being said, real quick, we have some Cavs stuff to get into. We're going to get into our keys to a championship season. Before we do, guys, we have this cool thing we have to talk about here where we're partnering up with Mentor High School and Mentor, the music mentors. It's been such a cool thing, and me as a music guy, I really appreciate it. I remember the days of mom and pops talking about how much a clarinet was going to cost for my sister and, all that, just different things, man. And, bass drum, I played the bass drum because I figured, try to keep it cost efficient. I just need one big drum. But go.rallyup.com/music mentors 2026. That is going to help out with Shore Middle School, Memorial Middle School, and Mentor High School. It's going to help out with the 175 seniors, part of the Fighting Cardinal Band. It's going to help with scholarships, and 100% of these proceeds, this fundraiser, is going to go right to the Music Mentors program. It's helping out create more of a creativity in Ohio and is creating the arts and building the arts even stronger. I can't express how much music has saved my life so many times, and there's somebody out there that's waiting to just be able to play the bass drum or play the clarinet, or you just have that Friday Night Lights feel. And I think it's so important that we are also passionate about that here on the Inside Edge Network, helping out. And please go support go.rallyup.com/music mentors 2026. Donate. You can win a bunch of cool prizes. If you need to see some of the cool prizes, go to the website. You can also listen to Midnight Run. Double A gave a great breakdown of what you could win on some great stuff. But 100% of the proceeds go right to the Music Mentors program. It's going to help out the next generation, and that's what we're big on. We're big on and setting the table for the next generation here on the Inside Edge Network. So, guys, just a great thing here, and we're making the final push here. So anybody out there that's been on the fence about going to the website, today's your day.
Absolutely. Pay it forward. Fine arts, right? Yeah.
Yeah, time's almost up, too, as you mentioned. Like, you have until Saturday to do this. And, again, I looked on the website. Yeah, look, from gift cards to the 21 and up gift basket you can get. So some of y'all, we don't encourage any of it, but you're adults. Some of y'all might want some adult beverages while you're watching these games. But you can.
I got a 40 nut basket for me. I could use some Metamucil, probably some cranberry juice or something. Something like that.
and look on the bright side. Look on the bright side. These gifts will help if this happens on Saturday.
yeah, sure heck it would, buddy. Sure heck it would. My goodness.
Get into the gift basket.
Well, Chad, I know you've been stressing about how you're 46 and want everybody to know. So you're in the 46 and older basket.
Yes. You're 46 and older, 46 and up. It's a special provision, of course.
Yes, absolutely. Well, hey, let's get into it. We got about 15 minutes or so. They're not going to turn us off
because I'm old. Is that what you're trying to say?
No, I know the program director, and I think you do too. So if we go a minute or two over, I don't think they're going to shut us off.
No, Eli. I think Chad wish your video would have went like this. I swear, if this happens on Saturday.
Did you see when I accidentally glitched myself last night? I clicked the technical. Yes. I clicked the screen and I went away. I'm like, whoa, that's too much power.
It was amazing.
I'm not ready for this.
I love it, fellas.
That's what happens. That's what happens when your Tuesday top 5 is in question.
What was in question?
Yeah, by the way, off air, I got ripped up last night for my Tuesday top 5. Days of the week did not work out for me at all.
Yeah, you did, because Monday is not the worst day of the week. It's not.
I hear what you're saying. It's just not processing. Maybe it's because I'm old. I don't know. It's not processing for me.
Double A, I was fighting for Monday in the pre-show when we were making that list, and it just wasn't being heard. It was.
The list was top. The list was top 5, right? Top 5 days of the week, not including Saturday and Sunday.
That's it.
Yep, weekdays. Yep.
Yeah, weekdays. Yep. Monday is not the worst weekday of the week. It's either Tuesday or Wednesday.
Okay.
Like Monday, you could make. Monday, you're already so prepped and ready to go. You'll be fine. And during football season, you have Monday Night Football. You have, if you're a wrestling fan, you have Raw. Okay. I mean, you have stuff. It's Tuesday. Tuesday hits. Tuesday, there's no benefit for you. Yeah. Sorry.
Listen, you're making your point. But the more I thought about it, the more I couldn't sleep last night because I'm like, man, at the beginning of the week, when I told you when times are tough, Monday's always there for you, right? The day after Sunday can be bad sometimes, right? But Monday's always there to pick you. It's there. It may not be the best. It may not go well for you, but it's always there for you. Maybe next week we do maybe next week is the revised top 5 list for David.
And real quick, you go in with the best intentions on Monday. Tuesday, you're just over it.
You're right.
Tuesday, you're just, I've had enough of this.
I do agree with that.
Monday gives you that false hope that, you know what, I'm going to attack this week. I'm going to have a positive mindset. I'm going to be good.
Yep.
Then an email comes in and you like F this. And you start flipping the bird off. You start turning to McAfee and start flipping off the fans for no reason.
And if you want all your pro wrestling takes, Double A letting you know that you can hear that and so much more on Side Hustle Wrestling Podcast Friday mornings with him and Kyle Cornell here on the Inside Edge Network. WrestleMania season in full bloom. Actually, this weekend, Double A.
Yeah, it's my second preview show that I have to host this week.
What's your next preview show? I feel like now we just got to get you on like as many preview shows as we can throughout the network.
I don't know. Cleveland State softball. I don't know.
We love it. All right, fellas. Hey, we got about 10 minutes left here in the show. Let's get straight to the point. What are your keys to a Cavs championship? I'm not talking just beating Toronto because that's like Double A has alluded to earlier on, and we've all talked about that should be a formality for most fans. In their mind, it's a formality that, okay, just go take care of business. Okay, you should get hopefully past Detroit and JB Bickerstaff, and if you don't, oh my goodness, tune in to Primetime and Midnight Run because that will be a conversation. Yeah. All right? But really, it seems like for the Cavs here in Cleveland, though the national media seems to be writing us off for the most part, it's Boston, New York, and Cleveland. How do the Cavs get out of that trio, get to the NBA Finals, and win it against an Oklahoma City Thunder or a San Antonio Spurs team or Denver Nuggets? I mean, any of these teams. Houston could surprise. I mean, there's so many teams. I don't want to write off Minnesota. I know they're a little bit lower on the total poll, but Minnesota even.
You skipped a seed in the West. You skipped the guy we know. That's okay.
Yeah. Well, they're a little more banged up. But let's pivot to Cleveland here. We can talk about Lakers tomorrow, Chad. How did the Cavs, and I'll start with you, Chad. How did the Cavs win a championship in 2026?
That's what I get for not keeping my mouth shut. I got to go first.
That's right, pal.
All right. That's fine. I think the biggest key is a lot of what we talked about, taking care of the basketball. You're going to have to score. Offensively, I think they're pretty good. Between Donovan Mitchell and James Harden running the show in the backcourt, I think Harden's scoring ability, his passing ability, it's not just the passing ability, but it's passing guys into good, situations, right? It's just the basketball IQ is off the charts. And I guess maybe I knew that about James Harden, but I didn't realize it was that. I didn't realize his prowess was that significant until watching him a few times here. So I guess that's on me. But 17 straight times in the playoffs for Harden is wild, right? So there's the pedigree there. He's got the experience. Hasn't won it. I get it. And you look at Boston, a team like Boston. I think we talked about their stars have won like 13 out of 19 playoff series together. Tatum and Brown. That's wild, right? So you're going up against a lot. So you're going to have to be technically sound. You got to figure out the rotation. Again, take care of the basketball. They've got to box. It's the little things. I mean, Tim Alcorn said it right here. You got to box out, right? You got to play defense. You got to play sound defense. It's the effort. You're going to have to, a lot of people are going to take advantage of the Cavs. They don't get back well on defense. They don't do well in transitional defense. Teams are going to want to run. They're playing a lot of younger teams. They're going to want to get out and run against the Cavs. So you're going to have to keep an eye on that. And most importantly, what did we say? You're going to have to stay healthy, right? You got to have a little bit of luck, but you got to stay healthy.
Absolutely. Those are some great points there, Chad. We've stressed, like you mentioned, a few of those throughout the show, and then we'll continue to stress them throughout the weeks going forward. Double A, what would you like to add? What are some of your keys to an NBA championship for Cleveland?
Everything that Chad mentioned, I'm in lockstep of. Eli, I thought you brought up a good point earlier about perhaps you could maybe stick with a deeper rotation in the playoffs. We'll see if that can materialize. But that means all those guys have to show up. Now, if they do on both sides of the ball, then you could consider that. Fresh legs is going to really help this team. A lot of it is effort because compared to these other teams who have had guys play most of these games in the regular season, the Cavs have not. Yeah. But I pulled up I sent you guys a stat earlier. It got lost in our nonsense group chat earlier.
I'm sure.
No, but I want to read it here, make sure it's correct. Here it is. Since February 1st, my birthday, only one time did the Cavaliers lose a game where both Jared Allen and Donovan Mitchell played and they had at least 1 day of rest.
Yeah, that's wild.
And that was the OKC game on February 22nd on a Sunday afternoon. All of they've lost 8 other times, but it came on a second night of a back-to-back, or it involved missing at least Jared Allen or Donovan Mitchell. The key is this. Every one of us have said it. Core 4 is at full strength. That has really never happened in these playoffs. Sub out, James Harden for Darius Garland. It has never happened. Yeah. And legs-wise, offensively, they need to outrun each and every single one of these teams because they can. Even Boston, they can. The thing that's going to help in terms of weakening the competition, you look at the Western Conference, it's a bloodbath. It is a bloodbath. San Antonio, Denver, Minnesota, even the Lakers and Houston, they're going to have to beat each other up. OKC is going to have a little bit of an easier path to the conference finals. But even in their conference finals, it's going to be a bloodbath.
Yeah.
If the Cavaliers can fundamentally be sound and have a few of these guys get hot from downtown and lock in defensively, and Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, I keep going back to the Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. Evan Mobley, Jared Allen. Those two guys, if they could hold down the fort with the paint, the rest of the team flows. Yeah. And if all that happens, then all of a sudden the core 4 in every single matchup, including against Boston, including against OKC, San Antonio, Minnesota, out of the top 6-7 guys on the floor, we have the 4 of the top 7 players on the court at all times when our core 4 is out there. Talent-wise, we're good. If the effort's there, the championship's yours.
I love it. Those are a lot of strong points from both of you. And I think to add on to that, I do think when we think of the 2025 Cavaliers playoff run, we love Ty Jerome here in Cleveland still. But we do think about how he just completely disappeared. And the role players and eventually became too much on Donovan Mitchell. Now, we are going to need James Harden and Donovan Mitchell to do their thing, and we're expecting Jared Allen and Evan Mobley to do the same. But what happens when we call on the number for Dennis Schroeder to get in the game? We call for Keon Ellis, for Max Strus, for Jalen Tyson, for Sam Merrill. What happens when we call on these role players? Somebody's going to have to make a household name of themselves. Somebody's going to have to find somebody. Utah doesn't have postseason basketball to watch. Somebody in Utah is going to become a fan of a Cavaliers role player. That's what it's going to take. They're going to have to ball out, and I truly think out of all of them, I think they're all going to have strong postseason. I feel good, especially after Tim talked to you, Double A. I feel good, man. But I just think Jalen Tyson stands out the most out of all these guys. He had to take some time to get healthy again. But out of all those guys, he is a shot creator in terms of he can drive, he can kick it out, he's a good passer, he's going to hit the three-point shot. Again, just to reiterate it again, 4th in the NBA in three-point percentage this year. So he is having a pretty good second season. I think he's hungry enough, he's got that dog in him, And I think that's what you need come postseason. You know, you look at Indiana, they got to the NBA Finals last year, and everybody's like, well, they weren't the most talented team. They just had a bunch of dogs. And they were sick of everybody telling them they weren't good enough. They just were a bunch of dogs. And I think the Cavaliers, we talked about maybe using the Celtics playbook for a moment and getting a deeper rotation to take a playbook out of the Indiana Pacers, be a dog this postseason. Be a dog, and that'll get you to where you need to be. Because clearly the biggest issues for the Cavaliers the last few postseasons have been physicality, health, and the role players not stepping up. I think we have done a good job of addressing that, and if those three things line up, I think we could all be meeting up downtown for, a big parade and, find each other. Hopefully we don't get lost, but that's the goal.
Like
right?
parades. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, question. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dole.
No, Chad, you go first.
Okay. Well, I forgot what I was going to say.
Well, unfortunately, I remember what I said. I can't be having Kendrick Perkins calling my players creamy in the middle.
That's
No.
fair.
I can't have it. I mean, this is done. I can't be having, every tissue brand, Hostess.
Yeah.
I can't be having that. Tater tarts. I can't have that.
Cool Whip, dude wipes, nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
We don't need any of
Trying
that.
to prove, even if this doesn't. First off, you got to be in the mindset championship. Number one.
Yeah.
You can't be like, oh, Boston's in our conference, so hopefully we can be there. And that's for the fans too. You got to think of that mindset if you're a Cavs fan. But they have to eliminate Eli. That was a great point by you. You have to eliminate this idea that you're a soft team.
Yeah.
End of story. That's your reputation. That's why nobody outside of Cleveland is picking the Cavs, because they have a reputation that they're soft.
Yeah.
That has to change.
In all seriousness, I was going to ask you guys, I mean, do they need to play with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder? We haven't really seen that from them. It's always, it's business as usual. It's, stoic, the whatever. I mean, do they need a little bit of, I don't know, man, somebody grabbing a tech and getting people fired up? I mean, they're very even keeled, and that's okay sometimes. And sometimes I think you have to ride that emotion a little bit. I mean, I talked about the Pacers last year. I just, maybe they need to play with a little bit of a chip on, play a little bit angry.
I think they need that. Eli, real quick, I think they need that, and they need to do that here at home.
Yeah.
I think you have to establish that Cleveland's one of the all-time best with home court.
Yeah.
You need to let teams know. And I'm sorry, no disrespect to the Toronto Raptors. They should not be competing at your level.
Yeah.
End of story. You got to treat them like punks. You got to send a message to everybody watching on streaming land that you're no longer that pushover team. You got to show like, oh crap, we got to roll a Cavs highlight because half of us don't have cable. Here's a Cavs highlight. Oh my goodness, they're knocking somebody down, or they did this, or Toronto tried to challenge them in the paint, and Evan Mobley said, "I'm not taking that blank anymore. I'm not taking Jared Allen. I'm not taking that." Absolutely, and you do that here at home. You do that in game one. You set the tone that they don't belong on this effing floor. You got to set that tone.
I love it, AA, and I would not be opposed to it. I do think this series is going to be a momentum builder, though, for the Cavaliers. I think they're just going to put on a masterclass of a performance. I think they're going to show why they're head and shoulders above Toronto. I think this is a 5-game series. I will say, however, you don't get into any technicals on needed ones because you're going to probably get Detroit in round 2. And Detroit likes to scrap. And that's going to be a scrappy series if those two teams link up.
There's a lot there. I mean, there's a lot.
And you got Isaiah Stewart, Jalen Duren. I mean, guys that aren't opposed to some physicality and are going to challenge Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. Hey, you said the lights were too bright a few years ago. Are they still bright? Because we're here. So, AA, I'm with you. I would not be opposed if they had a game one, just, check somebody. I think they're going to just show why they are one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. They're going to put on a great display of basketball in this series. But I'm telling you, round 2, if it is Detroit and Cleveland, both teams advance, that's going to get a little chippy.
Even if my upset prediction happens and it's Charlotte beating Detroit and it's Charlotte, you see what Ball did.
Yeah.
We saw it. They're ready to throw down. And don't think, and I'm speaking a storyline into existence. Don't think he doesn't take the run that he had here and it didn't go through well, don't think he won't take this series personally.
Yeah.
These playoffs are going to be across the board. They're going to be amazing. But if we want a great outcome, you can't be having Kendrick Perkins calling me creamy in the pause. I can't have that. Wording. Isn't this my time slot anyway? Yeah. Okay. Wording.
Yeah. And all right, we're gonna play the intro.
Welcome to Midnight.
I love it. All right. Well, hey, everybody out there, we appreciate you so much. We sit here and talk for another 2-3 hours, but I think AA might have to brew 2-3 more cups of coffee. We had a heck of a day. There's Real Talk with Papa Moon. Bill Lambier type of defenders. I love it, Pops.
Hey.
I love it. You need somebody that's going to be a little physical. They may not allow us to get that type of physical, but as close as we can get to. I think that's what Papa Moon's looking for, and I'm sure he's also looking for some sunscreen because that guy is in the Bahamas, and he forgot sunscreen at home.
He's looking for the Tabasco and the salt and pepper as well, I think.
Yes. We love you, Papa Moon, here on the Inside Edge. Yes, on the Inside Edge Network. I love you, Pops, and stay tuned. I will announce your programming. We've been talking about a lot of great programming. If you've enjoyed it, yes, Ryan Mosser, that's another great one. Thursday, next week, NFL Draft. Commissioner's Couch going to have you covered on the NFL Draft coverage. And then, let's talk about Papa Moon. We actually have, I mean, he's kind of already.
Hopefully Ryan will have his legs back under him by then real quick. I just,
He is in the, Papa Moon, not Ryan Mosser, but Papa Moon is in the Bahamas. He's coming back. He's on a cruise right now. We are going to have a special, both moons in different spots. And we're going to have a conversation on Saturday. Real Talk with Papa Moon here on the Inside Edge Network, 5 p.m. after Illegal Formation with Chad and TK. But again, if you've enjoyed all the coverage, you've been locked in here with us for the entire 2 hours because you have. We've seen nobody has ran away from us, so we appreciate you. Thank you for choosing us. Again, as Cleveland's digital leader and your source for sports, entertainment, mental health, and everything in between. The biggest thing you could do for us right now is just like and subscribe Inside Edge Net on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and tell your friends that there is a different type of feel in Cleveland right now when it comes to sports, music, and entertainment and mental health. We are providing that change here on the Inside Edge Network, and we couldn't do it without all of you tuning in. So we appreciate you so much. Again, program reminder, tomorrow, Thursday, a busy day, AA. We got what? Commissioner's Couch. We have,
we got Voice of the Land.
That's right. Yes, Voice of the Land.
Kevin Arnold and Ryan Mosser. We got that. And then, of course, the Commissioner's Couch podcast, get you ready for the NFL draft and fantasy football, of course. And then you guys will be back. You got some things to talk about on prime time tomorrow night.
Yeah, we do.
Coming up at 10 o'clock. Live Golf. That's in the news.
Yeah.
Yes. And I'll make, we got a lot of exciting stuff. That's why you tune into a preview show. You get all the exciting program announcements. Ryan Lang from the American Red Cross will be on the show tomorrow for Inside Edge Primetime. We'll be talking about, should we trust Jeremiah Love? Should we even entertain it as Browns fans? He's a Notre Dame guy, so we'll talk about it.
We're throwing all the noodles against the wall now, man. We're going to really see what sticks.
Well, look, I don't have noodles. I have ham and scalloped potatoes. All right.
Stop saying it.
With that being said.
Dude, you've been teasing this dinner the entire night.
Yeah, you got to eat it live on. Sorry, man, you have to eat it on the show now.
You might as well just get a scoop, man.
I gotta heat it up, fellas. All right, look, it's been a day.
Oh, now you gotta heat it up. You don't eat it cold.
I don't know anybody that just eats ham and scalloped potatoes cold.
I'm so hungry right now. I might.
All right, well, why don't you go get some dinner and get ready for tomorrow? All right, that's Chad Bryan to my right, your left.
Hey, if that 3 a.m. run show actually launches out of a pilot, that might happen.
That's AA Anthony Alford in the middle, and I'm Eli Moon. And we have had a blast spending our entire evening here from 10 to 12 East Coast with you. Thank you so much. Again, Chad and I back with you at 10 o'clock for prime time, but don't join us there. Actually, beat us there with the Voice of the Land with Kevin Arnold, Ryan Mosser, and Commissioner's Couch with Ryan Mosser and David Calhoun. They'll get you ready for a jam-packed day of Inside Edge Network coverage. Until then, for Chad, for AA, I'm Eli Moon. This is the Inside Edge Network. We love you guys. Have an enjoyable rest of your night, and we'll see you for a jam-packed Thursday here on the Inside Edge Network. Take care.